Let's talk about the mother of Black Hollywood, Miss Jenifer Lewis. I read her memoir, or should I say, I listened to her memoir on audiobook earlier this summer, and I absolutely loved it. It was like sitting down with some coffee or drink, depending on the time of day, and just listening to your aunt who is just, been out there in the world, experienced the world, just listening to her tell it like it is. If you don't know, Jenifer Lewis has played everybody's mama in Black Hollywood. Most memorable may be from the Think Like a Man series, or Tina Turner's mom in What's Love Got to Do with It. Jenifer Lewis got her started in theater. She said she's always been outspoken, always wanting to be the center of attention. She studied theater, and shortly after graduating college, she moved to New York. She's done Broadway plays, off-Broadway plays, produced her own one-woman shows, and all of these amazing things. She has put it all out there. She has spilled all the tea. So I watched her in her Breakfast Club interview, and she was like, it was so freeing to do this. She has told you everything that you could possibly know about her. So there is nothing anyone can hold over her head. And I can imagine that is a very freeing feeling. In this book, she is very candid about her sexual experiences, and OMG, they had me laughing. A lot of them did. She's been proposed to several times, but she just realized she's not the marrying type. She talks about the AIDS epidemic and how it affected her and so many people she knew in the 80s, because she was, in the theater in New York, experiencing all of these things as it came about. And she talked about how it affected so many of her friends, and that like kind of pulled tears out of me. She then goes into detail about her discovery of her manic depression and being bipolar. She talks about how she has done the work. I think she said she was in counseling for 13 plus years. Now she's on her meds, and now she's speaking out. She feels like she's been given this platform. She's older. Now she's on this popular TV show, and she wants to share, and speak out and be the voice. She talks about so many great things in this book. I highly, highly recommend it, especially on audio, because you want to hear her say Jenifer M. Effin Lewis. You want to hear her say it in how she speaks, which is awesome. Her latest role now, she's on Blackish, doing her thing, and it is just awesome to read of her story, basically, just to read it and take it all in. I want to talk about The Last Black Unicorn, the autobiography, or should I say the memoir. What's the difference? Do y'all know? Memoir, autobiography of Tiffany Haddish. Those who don't follow comedy, I say about 2 years ago, Tiffany Haddish just fell out the sky when she appeared in the movie Girls Trip. But for me, I have followed her here and there and seen her through the years in different comedy specials, and I've always thought she was funny. I was excited and happy that she was going to release this memoir, because I think it shows people the grind. Like, she didn't just out of the blue come up and it's this funny. She has been working at her craft for years. It starts off her memoir talking about her early life, growing up, taking care of her siblings after her mom was in a really bad car accident. Her dad was not in her life. She talks about how she, being a class clown, was able to convince people for years that she knew how to read when she did not. In fact, she didn't learn to read till, I believe, 9th grade. Then she talks about how it was a teacher who introduced her to this comedy program, which helped her to develop her craft. And she talks about so many relationships she's been in, one marriage that was bad, one relationship that was abusive. She puts it all out there. Just like with anything else with Tiffany Haddish, it could be like the most horrible thing going on, but because of the way she speaks when listening to the audiobook, I found myself laughing. But she does discuss some serious matters. I think it's definitely worth a listen on audio. I have been enjoying the Tiffany Haddish craze that's still going on, what, 2 years later, and you want to know more about her life, I definitely think you should pick up this book. It is worth the read. Let's talk about Franchesca Ramsey's Well, That Escalated Quickly. I think she calls it a guide to social media. It is part memoir, part essays about her experiences growing up in this new social media age. Just admit that this was just an okay read for me. I did listen to it on audiobook, which she narrates it perfectly, and I have been following Franchesca since about 2009 maybe, so I have seen her grow through the years, and it is awesome to see. One thing that surprised me when reading this is she considers herself a comedian. I mean, sometimes I've laughed at stuff she said, but I never thought of her as a comedian. I love her social commentary. I watch Decoded every time it comes through my YouTube timeline, and she has all the information. She's woke, as people like to say. Everybody's using that term today, but in this memoir she talks about before becoming woke, or should I say the mistakes she's made on the road to where she is today. If you're going to listen on audio, I suggest you pick up the physical copy as well, because through the audio she named, called out some charts that's in the book, or some graphs and things like that that I did not get to see since I didn't have the physical copy. This book was very informative. I would suggest you give this to young people, especially those who are in their early 20s, and teenagers now, because they're growing up with it. I remember smartphones came out when I was like in my second or third year of college. I could not imagine having it in high school. One of the things that I really enjoyed, she talked about the call out mentality that's going on social media, where people are going back and looking at people's tweets and posts from 100 years ago and saying this is the type of person they are, not giving into effect. If you're looking at a tweet from 2009, who is the person today? If that person is still making those same comments, then yes, cancel them. But if not, think about a person's growth, okay? She talked about the clap back and how much time she wished she would not have wasted clapping back at everybody who got a comment to say, all the trolls, because it really does seem like there are people who have made it their job to just simply put negative comments and hide their identity. Those internet thugs and things like that. In this book, she shows growth. She calls out herself and her mistakes, which I think is smart given this day and age, because the call out crowd, they are ready to cancel her at any moment. They have always seemed to be on her, especially since her main first viral video was the things that white girls say to black girls. Ooh, that really got up under a lot of people's skin, and I remember when that video first came out. My favorite memoir of the summer, but I did enjoy it. If you are into social media, recent events, and like it's It's called The Guide to Social Media. So I think it will be helpful if you're really into that thing, showing it to younger people, like, hey, be careful when you're out here on the internet. You know, take these right precautions. Learn from Franchesca and all the holes she went down, but has come out of it a better person for it. But you can avoid those things by paying attention and listening and reading this book. I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm Lady, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.